No days off, no days off. Mind on my grind, so it's no days off.
I know I ain't been here in a minute. It's been at least a month, right? It's all good though. I didn't put a mic on. I didn't put any lights up. I didn't do anything because the more stuff I put into it, the more likely it is that I won't make a video. So I'm just getting on here. We're just gonna talk about everything. So I think the biggest fight that I didn't make a video on yet, Beterbiev versus Bivol. Let's talk about it. I think enough time has passed now where people won't be so emotional about it. Personally, when I was watching it, I thought Beterbiev pulled out the last 3 rounds and worked himself to a draw or 1 round up. When I was going round by round, I thought Bivol took a lot of the early rounds, but bro, Beterbiev started turning up. And people could say like, oh, he was just hitting his gloves. But I'm like, bro, effective aggression is one of the criteria of judging. Effective aggression, ring generalship, right? Like, if I'm making you move every direction I want you to move in, if I'm being aggressive, I'm taking 2 of those criteria up. Like, you can, Floyd Mayweather was an example of someone that was being defensive, but he was still in control. It wasn't like, oh, I gotta get away from this guy or I'm gonna get hurt. He just doesn't like getting hit, and he can do whatever he wants with you. You know what I mean? So to me, a lot of the rounds Beterbiev was taking just from activity, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like early on, I was like, damn, Bivol's sitting down on some of these punches. Like, he's getting some good punches in. But by the time it got to 9, 10, 11, 12, I'm like, bro, Bivol just hanging on, bro. He's just trying to make it to the end. And like, I think he's a real warrior. So he would still every once in a while sit down on some punches, pop, 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 and pop out. But a lot of times in the last 3 rounds, literally just on the ropes and then moving away. On the ropes, moving away. And I'm like, yeah, you can't win around like that, bro. So I thought, in my opinion, Bivol gave up the fight at the end. Otherwise, I would have said, I think I would have said going into the 10th, I had it more or less Bivol up by a little bit, right? And then the last 2 rounds, I'm like, damn, bro, just gave away the championship rounds. That was crazy. That's just my opinion, I don't think close fights can be robberies. I think everyone sees fighting differently. I think you can say, I think this style is winning, I just don't think if I got into a fight, like, bro, a little kid could hit me 30 times in a row. And if I punch them back 1 time and they fall on the ground or they're like, their eyes swollen, I wouldn't say the little kid won the fight. Like, the punches never bothered me, you know what I mean? So that's just the way I look at things. That doesn't mean that it's the absolute truth. Like I said, I don't think close fights can be robbery. So people that were like crying, like, oh, Saudi robbed Bivol, I'm like, I don't think it's a robbery. I get why people say Bivol won. Like I said, when it was actually over, I said it's a draw. I already know it's a draw. And I said, if they give it to somebody, I think they're going to give it to Beterbiev just because of how much he did in the last 3 rounds, right? But that's that. Let's move on. Let's talk about Tszyu. No disrespect, I've never had faith in that guy. I honestly thought he was going to lose to Tony Harrison. I was really surprised that he beat him. I thought he was going to lose to, I can't even think of Buddy's name right now. But I thought he was going to lose a couple different fights that he didn't lose. I knew he was going to lose the Fondura fight. And you could say, oh, he wouldn't have lost that if he didn't get the cut. That's true. It's very possible. I still thought he was going to lose. I think he overlooked Bakhram. He called him a step-aside fighter. I think he was not ready for that, bro. And you know what? He needs a change of mentality if he wants to be who he says he wants to be. He don't be having no plan B. He just be going up in there and just trying to out-tough the other guy. Sometimes you're not tougher than the other guy, bro. I know that hurts to hear, but you need a plan B. Dude getting his head knocked off, and his plan is to just keep walking forward with no head movement. Granted, I'm not going to be too harsh on him because once you get your shit cleaned out one good time, it's hard to think, right? So he got dropped, and from there was no head movement, no defense. It was literally just, I'm going to try to track you down with my left hand and throw a hard right hand. But I'm like, bro, he hits harder than you. At this point anyways, in this fight today, he hits harder than you. Every time he touches you, you're falling on the ground. you ain't even making his legs buckle. So you're not gonna out-tough him. You need defense. You need to be able to fight going backwards. You need anything else besides walking straight forward to the dude that repeatedly is putting you on your ass. That's tough. What does he do from here with back-to-back losses? I don't know, man. That's tough. He needs to go back to, where is he from? He needs to go back to Australia and like build himself back up. You know, losing is not the end of the world. It's really not, especially when you're a warrior. We've seen Daniel Dubois, man, stopped by Joe Joyce, stopped by Usyk. Dude came back and, you know, he beat Gerald Miller. He beat Anthony Joshua, knocked him out. So losing doesn't mean you'll never get a title again, but it does take some rebuilding. You gotta take a step back. He can't just keep throwing himself to these high-level guys. He's gonna end up being a gatekeeper, essentially. No disrespect to gatekeepers. Let's move on to a not so popular fight, Scull versus Shishkin, right? When I saw that fight, I was like, oh, brother, Canelo's gonna fight whoever wins this and become undisputed again at 168. And honestly, he's gonna fuck both of them up. Like whoever he picks, well, I mean, he's gonna pick Scull because Scull won the belt, right? But yeah, that was not a beautiful fight. Both dudes were tough. I thought Scull was a little more technical than that, but that dude, I don't know. He's like super swole for 168, right? He looked like me in 168. And like when you got too much muscle, it's hard to like throw loose, straight punches. Like every time his punches look so labored because he has so much muscle. Like, you know, I used to be like 147 pounds, right? And so it was really easy to throw straight punches, throw hooks, whatever, and I could really like rotate. At this size, like when I'm hitting the mitts, it's like my biceps and my shoulders, like they're like in the way, bro. It's really hard to throw punches how I need to, and that's how he looks at 168. I was just like, if he was leaner, I feel like he would have whooped Shishkin easily, but I feel like because his punches were so wide and they were so labored, Shishkin had enough time to move out of the way a lot of times. But either way, I think Skull's good. I think it'll probably look like the Berlanga fight. People that don't know what they're looking at will probably be like, oh man, this is really good. And I think everyone else will probably be like, bro, we don't want to see Canelo fight somebody like this again. But I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't see Canelo fight him Beterbiev for undisputed at 175. Not because of him, because I think he would do it. People think Canelo's scared of who and who, but I don't think Canelo's scared of anybody, man. And I think at this point in his career, the reward needs to be greater than the risk, right? No disrespect to David Benavidez. David Benavidez has nothing, bro. Canelo ain't gonna make a lot of money fighting him. He's not gonna get no belts. All he can possibly get is a loss. He's probably not gonna come out and say that, but that's the truth. If you sit down and look at it, it's like, if I win, I don't get anything for beating him. If I lose, everyone's like, you lost to an up-and-coming dude who had never fought anyone on your level before. At least with Beterbiev, even if he gets knocked out, we're like, it's Beterbiev, who cares, bro? Like, so I think, I could see him doing that, honestly. But I think he's gonna just go undisputed at 168 against Scull. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about that. 168, I don't know, man. It's not too much going on at 168. I like Caleb Plant. I don't know if I ever see him doing anything crazy at 168, but I know he's down to fight anybody. I like to see him fight Berlanga. I like to see Munguia fight Berlanga. I like to see Caleb Plant versus Munguia. All of the fights at 168 that I want to see don't even necessarily have to be for a belt. But I don't want to see Canelo versus Scull, I can tell you that. Chris Colbert. I don't know if any of y'all watched this. ProBox TV. It was a random Wednesday, and I watched Chris Colbert get the towel thrown in against him, against Salcido. That was interesting. I think Chris Colbert needs to give up on boxing, no disrespect. You can tell when somebody just ain't in it no more, and I feel like that's a good way to get hurt. Like, I don't know. His game plan just be stupid. I think he's too small for the weight that he's fighting at. And it's like, at some point, he just literally went into crazy survival mode. He wasn't even trying to win, bro. And I'm like, at the level that you made it to, fighting in survival mode against a random, no disrespect to Saucedo, a random on ProBox TV on Wednesday night, yeah, bro, you're done. Like, you're cooked. No disrespect. So, not going to spend too much time on that one. At 154, I don't know if y'all saw Yoenis Tellez. That kid is good, man. They talking about him versus Saez. I don't know who will win that. Like, I think he has really good power, right? But they talk like he has this crazy destructive power, like one punch, and I don't really think so. I think he breaks you down. I think he's intelligent. He's got pretty good defense. And people are talking like he would kill Saez, but I don't know about that, man. I would like to see them fight. That's gonna be a real good fight at 154. All right, enough of the past fights. Let's talk about some up-and-coming fights. The Boots and Bam card. I really don't have, even though we're going to talk about it, I really don't have too much to say. Boots already UD'd this dude. I don't want to see it again. Hopefully he learned to cut the ring off better. I think Boots is really talented. And at the same time, I think people overrate him. I don't think he's beaten anyone yet to make us say, like, oh, Boots is so great. Like, a lot of stuff that you can... I think he's levels above, like, C-level fighters, right? But you can do a lot of stuff against people that aren't that good compared to you that you can't do to elite guys, right? We see that with Ben Whitaker. Ben Whitaker is dancing all around on dudes. And his last fight, he quit. He faked the ankle injury. Don't get mad at me, Ben. It's true. So, like I said, hopefully Boots has learned to cut the ring off. And hopefully he actually stops him. If it's even competitive, I'll be disappointed because you already UD'd the dude and won like every single round last time. I would expect you to do better, especially because like he's calling out Terrence Crawford. He's saying he wants to be undisputed at 147. And I'm like, do it then, bro. Like, what are we waiting on, you know? Bam, I think he's going to smoke dude. What's the dude's name? Guevara. He doesn't have... I think with dudes like Bam and Boots, they're so good and athletic that if you don't have crazy power, if they have nothing to respect, they're just going to play around with you. You know what I mean? You're not going to be as skilled as they are. So you need to have something over them, which would be, you know, really good counter punching maybe, or good power. But trying to go skill for skill with them with no power, you're going to get smoked. Also on that card, Raymond Ford is coming back at 130. It's going to be interesting. I watched a little day in the life type thing on YouTube the other day. He said he thinks he could take all the champions at 130. And I was like, I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. I don't think he will beat Robesi and Espinoza at 126. So at 130, I don't know. We're going to see what he looks like. His opponent don't really look that crazy. He doesn't look like he has much power to me. I've never really watched him. I can't lie to you. But, like I said, we'll see. Last one. Oh, Ammo Williams. Ammo Williams is coming back. Coming back after a knockout. And the dude he's fighting, same thing. Same like Gian Garrido. And same kind of thing. His record suggests that he has power, right? He's like 11-1 or something with like 9 or 10 knockouts. But I actually watched his film and I'm like, he don't hit that hard. Like, he was bigger than a lot of dudes he was fighting, and they just looked like they couldn't fight. So that's the problem. When you look at records, like on paper, sometimes you're like, oh, he's fighting a devastating knockout puncher, but it's like, not really. I expect Ammo. He got good power. And he's straight. He don't have good jab defense, but he's got good power and he's comfortable in the ring. I expect him to dispatch this dude pretty quickly. And if he doesn't, I don't know. That's all I really got for today. But you know, I always do a throwback fight. Go watch Gerald McClellan versus Julian Jackson. Man, you talking about two of the hardest punchers in history, bro. Y'all know Julian Jackson's knockout legend, Gerald McClellan. Man, you know, he got brain damage, and as a result of that, like, he can't see now. He's crazy disabled. But I believe these 2 fights with Julian Jackson did it. So 1 and 2, you could go watch both of those. 1, I think he took him to 5 or 6 before he knocked him out. And then in the second fight, he beat him in 1 round, bro. So I think Julian Jackson is such a devastating puncher that in these 2 fights, he gave Gerald McClellan brain damage. You could see him kind of blinking weird in the fights, bro. I think he already had it going on. And then, of course, the fight after that is when he suffered his brain injury, which is super sad. Which is why I never talk too much shit about boxers, bro. I'll say someone doesn't have skills, but I won't call them a bum or say any really bad stuff about them, because boxing really can be dangerous, man. Like, you don't know what's going to happen up in that ring. So, but yeah, go watch those 2 fights. Gerald McClellan, devastating puncher, but like, I would say he's one of the best offensive fighters in history, man. His left hook to the body, top 5 in history. It's not a question. It's not a question. It's not debatable. If you want to debate it, I'm not going to debate it with you. Top 5 in history, bro. And the way he broke down Julian Jackson, man, that shit was legendary, bro. Go watch those 2 fights. Since I was all over the place today, eventually when this video drops, I'll put, you know, those little chapters in so you could click each part and not wonder what I'm going to be talking about next. But when the video first drops, they might not be there. I haven't been on here for a month. Give me some time. I'm going to get back in the groove. I'm going to try to come back here at least once every 2 weeks. My life's just been busy, but appreciate y'all. See y'all next time.